name is Eddie, and today we are going to talk manifestation. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 science-backed ways to manifest and get the life that you want, but I'm also going to use an example of a client that I had who just manifested her ideal life ostensibly in our work together. So before we get started, my name is Eddie. I am a therapist who specializes in trauma, stress, and anxiety, and I also love all things woo-woo, but my heart always has to start with science and some level of it has to make sense to me. Recognizing that there are lots of things in life that do not make sense, and so that there is a divine power and intervention that exists in the world. I truly believe that. But if we're going to talk manifestation, I am all about using science-backed ways and then letting the universe and all of the other things do their magic and help us along the way and get the life that we want. So for me, my introduction to manifestation was, like in the 90s, and I'm sure a lot of you may have heard, or read the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. That was my introduction. All my friends, we were all reading it at the time. Like, that was the manifestation guru. That was the thing du jour. And looking back on it, like a lot of the things that I had wanted never manifested because I inherently was not really following the steps. And so I'm saying this to you, that if you're going to make this attempt at manifestation, you want to really be primed and be in a place for you to manifest in the right way. And when I say the right way, it's coming from a place of peace and of gratitude and of love, and not out of fear and insecurity and scarcity, which is where I was coming from, when I was first introduced to manifestation. But over time in my career, and as I, read science and read some of the articles and read, studies that show like this stuff actually works. And so, me allowing myself to apply it to my life and to my clients has helped all of us make tremendous growth. So let's go through the 5 steps. I'm going to tell you what the 5 steps are, and then I will break it down a little bit further. So the 5 steps are: set clear and specific goals, journal and reflect daily, visualize, take aligned action, and be grateful. And on the surface, that stuff makes sense, right? Like, it's just sort of like there's no magic to that. Like, I've done that. That's silly. That's stupid. Like, I've done all those things, Eddie, and like I've still not manifested my stuff. So this is where we will break it down, right? So for me, when I am working with a client, the thing that I notice the most, and really where I want to start the idea of manifestation, is that it starts as a self-love journey. Like, you have to do the work of loving yourself and accepting yourself. Forget maybe even loving yourself, but you have to accept yourself so that you can then recognize that you are not in a position to receive all of these like great things that you want because you don't really like yourself, or you don't really like your life, or you're just kind of like walking around as a negative Nelly all the time. And the thing that I say to people is, if I were money, or if I were a relationship, or if I were like, would I want to be around you? Like, would I want to be in your house? Like, would I want to be in your wallet? Like, not really, because you're just kind of miserable, right? And so the job for you to do in the beginning is to work on loving yourself and getting yourself to a place where you like accept yourself, and you really get to a place where you say to yourself, I am receptive to getting all of the good things. It's not about just like, let me wish for the car, and let me wish for the relationship, and let me wish for the money. It's doing the work of saying, like, as you are now, would money want to come into your house? Like, if you have clutter, like, would a relationship would someone want to be in a relationship with you where you're just complaining all the time, or just complaining about yourself, or complaining about others, or judging others? Like, Would your ideal person want to be with you? Like, not really, right? Like, would your ideal car want to be with you if you're just like throwing things around and you're like, not taking care of your current car or whatever the thing is? And so I sort of say to a person, you have to do the work of priming yourself to be able to say to whatever it is that you want, hey, I'm ready. Like, aren't I attractive? Isn't this life attractive? Don't you want to give me more? And so it is about sort of priming yourself to say, I am in a place where I am receptive to receiving all of those things. So in part of that is that step one is that you have to set very clear and specific goals. There is something about just saying like, like I just want to be in a relationship, which is just so very vague, and it's just so very, I don't want to say sloppy, but like doesn't take effort on your part to really think about what it is that you want. Because if you're not clear, one, you can't recognize the action steps that you might have to take. You can't recognize when something is not a good fit for you. You can't recognize, like where you're going wrong in the process if you're just being very vague, right? And so you have to set very clear and specific goals, and really part of that is also being able to say to yourself, it is okay for me to ask for what I want. It is okay for me to ask for a 2024 Mercedes-Benz 4-door coupe with light interior and heated seats and power steering and whatever, right? Like, it's just, you gotta be specific, and you gotta say that it's okay to ask for these things. And so you're really saying that you are receptive to receiving all that you want, right? Like, you're sort of saying, this is and this is what I want, and I'm very clear about it, and no apologies, and I am not waffling here, because I am certain in myself that I am receptive to receiving these things. On a side note, I will say, you don't have to be in a place of like, I deserve things in order to manifest things. Like, I think that's a fallacy too. Because people are like, they don't deserve that, they don't deserve that, why do they have this, why do they have that? And no one is saying you have to deserve things to receive them. But if you just are like, I'm in a relationship with this guy who like makes $10 million, and you just say that clear as day, like, you don't necessarily have to deserve it, but you just recognize your own worth. Maybe it's delusional, whatever, but you just recognize your own worth, and you just say like, I don't date anybody who's less than, like, I don't even want to say that. But you just sort of say like, my ideal situation is X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, all the way through. So you want to be very clear, and you want to be very specific about your goals. So that's step number one. And that surprisingly is very hard, because most people kind of keep it at, I want to be in a relationship, I want more money, I want a nicer car, I want a better job, but not really doing the work about being very clear about what it is that you want and why you want the thing. Which leads me to step number two, which is to journal and reflect about what you want every day, like almost obsessively. And I don't want to say it like that, but it's just like, you are on a mission, right? You are on a mission to change your life. You are on a mission to manifest something more for yourself. And so you have to watch everything in your life like a hawk. You have to watch your thoughts. You have to watch your behaviors. You have to watch the way you interact with people. You have to watch the way you interact with yourself. It is about saying, okay, I want this. And then you have to be able to say, oh God, like I talk to myself so negatively. Oh my God, like I can't really be receptive to receiving the thing when I treat people like nasty, or I don't, I treat my home like crap, or like whatever it is that by journaling and also recognizing your own limiting beliefs, because you may realize, I want this relationship, but then I'm like, do I really want it? But I'm not good, I'm fat, I'm like such and such, I don't really want this. And by journaling and reflecting about it, you catch yourself, and you catch the way that you are talking to yourself, and the way that you're living, and the way that you're sort of interacting with others. And so daily reflection, daily journaling, saying to yourself, like, why do I want this thing? Is it for external reasons? Is it because I want people to like me? Or is it because I'm seeking a sense of safety and security and I want stability? Like, why do I want the thing that I want? Why do I want to, be this weight? Why do I want that relationship? It's about bringing all of that up to the surface into your conscious awareness so that you can then, step number 3, visualize your ideal self, and then also prepare yourself for the landmines, right? So part of the visualization is seeing your day play itself out, and this is really important. You actually want to see the obstacles, and you want to see the hardships, and you want to see the failures, because when you see the failures, you can see, like, oh, oops, oh, I did that, oh, God, okay, like, I saw where I went wrong there, oh, I saw what I did there, oh, I saw how I, like, reverted back to old habits. It's not just about visualizing the thing that you want, it's about saying to yourself, recognizing, like, I see that I am susceptible to pitfalls, okay, and I have to see myself working through the pitfall. Like, I have to see myself doing the hard work. I have to see myself, like, getting into an argument with my soulmate. I have to see myself, spraining my ankle when I'm exercising every day. I have to see myself being tempted with pizza. I have to see that my car is going to have the check engine light show up. And it's about saying to yourself, how would I deal with this, right? Like, how would I navigate this issue? Now, I want to say, this is very different than worrying. Worrying comes from a place of lack. Worrying comes from a place of, like, oh my God, but then what happens, and what's going to happen, and then I'm not going to be able to succeed, and then he's going to leave me if I talk up too much, and then if I put on weight, then, like, no one's going to want to be, like, that's different. That's very different, because that's coming from a place of lack. That's coming from a place of scarcity. That's coming from a place of fear. And that's not where we're at. We are saying, like, we are capable of handling whatever shows up. And now, like, let's try to prepare and brainstorm all of the ways that we're going to try to navigate these things, because, like, life is going to happen. Like, our life is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be problem free. Like, if anything, like, what we get might cause more problems, might cause, like, people raising an eyebrow or, like, rolling their eyes or whatever it is. And so by visualizing the thing, not only the great thing or the manifested thing, but then also the obstacles and the hardships, just primes you, one, to figure out how to deal with it. Two, it sets you up for the emotional reaction and response that may show up, because then you're going to be tested, and you want to know that you are going to be in a place of calm and serenity and peace, and, like, I got this, and that you're not going to fall apart, when whatever bad thing happens, right? Like, so visualizing your day, visualizing you driving the car, visualizing you being in the relationship, holding your hands with the whatever, but then also, like, what was that noise in the car? Like, what was that, like, oh my God, the kid just spilled, juice all over the car, or, like, your significant other just said, like you have bad breath, or you just are sort of like, the boss says, can I speak to you for a moment? You didn't get, like, a great review on your whatever, on your annual review. Think about those things and visualize those things, so that when it happens, you're not like, see, I'm back. It's just sort of like, got it. We, like, figured this out. Like, yep, and we're gonna handle it this way. Then the next step is to take aligned action in your present day. And as you have journaled, as you have visualized, you sort of get these hints of, like, well, what do you have to do differently? It's not about just saying, oh, I have to eat healthier, or like, I have to save up money, or I have to go on a dating website. Like, when I say take aligned action, again, starts with you. Every day you are saying to yourself, like, I got this, I am capable, okay, I love myself, okay, like, I am worthy, I am receptive, okay, I'm gonna take the aligned action of, maybe this time I'm gonna, like, not react to this person. I'm gonna make better food choices. I'm not gonna spend frivolously. I'm gonna maybe, get a side hustle. I'm gonna maybe put myself in situations where I may meet people. Like whatever it is, subtle daily things that you can do. Take aligned action. Clean your house. Clean out your car. Sort of say to the universe, say to yourself that like we are actually setting ourselves up for this thing to come into our life. And then finally, it's to be grateful. Be grateful, and part of like eliminating and reducing the fear and the jealousy and the whatever shows up is to have gratitude. When you have gratitude, you then can look at something that might have made you jealous before, and they're like, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the experience of jealousy because I know I still have work to do. I know that like you just have maybe shown me a blueprint to how I'm gonna get what I want. Thank you for like the low bank account, because like you're getting me primed to figure out how I'm gonna hustle to get this abundant money. Thank you for like gas stations. Thank you for plumbers. And I know that like this damn thing just again happened, but like I'm grateful because this is teaching me something. And this is where I'll bring in the woo woo. Like I think the universe tests us, right? Like it's not, you can just go through the steps, but I think the universe is like, is she really ready for the thing? Is she really? Let's just test her and see what she does. Does she fall apart? Does she revert back to old habits? Or does she sort of like push through and navigate, and it's like she's really doing the thing. She's really getting it done, right? So I think that also being grateful for the challenges sets the universe up, I think, to say to you, I think she can do this. I think she's capable. So let me use the example of my client. So I started working with a woman who had been divorced about 5 years. She was having a really hard time with her ex. They were fighting all the time about custody stuff and money, and she was living with her parents. She had 3 kids, just was triggered all the time, was being threatened with being terminated at work. And so she reached out to me and wanted to work with me because she's just like, I'm just not happy. Like I'm stressed all the time. I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good worker. Like I gotta figure some stuff out. And as we started working together and we identified what some of her goals were, she just started off by saying like, I just don't want to be miserable anymore. Like I want to be a good mom. I want to, I want to not worry that I'm gonna lose my job. I'm just worried that like I don't want to blow up at my ex anymore. And she could identify all of these things. And in our work together, and this is the work that we did in therapy, is about like, working through her own self-doubt, working through the trauma, that was her abusive relationship. She was in a horribly abusive relationship with her ex-husband. Her, she didn't have self-confidence. She didn't have self-esteem. She saw that people were evil, especially men. She saw that, like that her daughters were like going down the wrong path. And so she was in a space of trauma and just negativity and not, being in a place to have the things that she wanted. So we had to work through a lot of those things. And really, again, the underlying work that we did was getting her to say that she loved herself, was getting her to say that it was okay for her to ask for what she wanted. And it was about changing the way that she saw the world, right? If you're going around saying that all men are evil and like, all men are pieces of crap and that like, like they will screw you over. Well, again, do you think a relationship is going to want to come to you? Do you think that the way that you interact with your ex, even if it's deserved that he's miserable or he's bad guy, like the way that you're interacting with him is not priming you for really what you want, which is a loving, healthy relationship. So we had to clear the clutter and the garbage and the trauma and the experiences that she had, in her ex and the abuse that she experienced. Then we had to then get her to a place where she was working on loving herself. She was every day looking in the mirror, and she was journaling, and she was reflecting, and she would come into session every week, and she would say, Ed, I wasn't able to look in the mirror because I think I'm fat. I had these memories of my ex saying to me that like my breath stank, and that like I put on weight with the kids, and I just was triggered. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. Like let's, like, you're reflecting on it, and we're sort of challenging those limiting beliefs, and we're challenging those feelings about yourself, and we're reframing it, right? We're reframing it, because maybe you do have bad breath, like that might be true, but it's about then saying, okay, like, so what? Like, I have bad breath, like all I have to do is brush my teeth. All I have to do is be in a relationship with someone where the guy is just like, babe, can you just brush your teeth? And you're like, okay, sure. So it's about saying to yourself, it's not about like, oh, he's a loser and he's a such and such. It's like, okay, so you're presented with this information. Let's see if this information is true. What do you want to do about it? How are you gonna like navigate that? That's fine. Like, let's just not give it energy. Let's reframe it and see it in a way that actually could be in your favor or could be positive, right? And so she sort of began to accept herself. She began to accept her flaws. She began to change the way that she interacted with her ex. She wrote down a soulmate list that she had like 50 things on there. And that was the challenge too. She started by saying like, oh, I just want him to be kind and I want him to be nice. And I'm like, you gotta give me 50 things. And it turned into, I want somebody that will travel with me. I want someone who is book smart. I want someone who is street smart. I want someone who plays with my kids. I want someone who like when I get into an argument with my ex, he will defend me. I want to be with someone who brings me coffee in the morning or hot chocolate. I want somebody that like I can call in the middle of the night. Like all of those things that she started to say that she wanted, and really said that she wanted, and then felt like, oh my God, and then wouldn't it be great, and she felt it, wouldn't it be great if he could just bring me coffee in the morning? I would love that. Or like that he, knows my favorite shampoo, and that he buys my favorite shampoo, or that he knows that like my favorite flower is this, and just feeling the like, wouldn't it be great? Like that is just like that he exists. And I said, he exists. He's out there. He's out there. Like he is out there. Like that's what you're asking for is doable. But you also have to be in a place where you are also worthy. What are you doing for yourself to be attractive to your soulmate? Like, oh, okay, I have to do the work of not being a negative Nelly and not complaining, and learning how to deal with my ex, because when he shows up and we're gonna have this battle royale, I need him to see that I'm gonna be calm, cool, and collected when I'm dealing with my ex, and then I'm not gonna stoop to his level, and I'm not gonna turn nasty, and I'm not gonna be ugly, and I'm not gonna be whatever. And we visualized her being in the relationship where the guy said to her, babe, your breath stinks, and like, what do you do with that? Or he says, he says, I don't like the way you said that, and that you don't crumble to the floor, and that you said, okay, I hear that you don't like that I said that, but here's where I'm coming from. Visualizing that you're having the argument, visualizing that you're, that you're having dinner, and visualizing that your kids, may be feeling some type of way, and that you're navigating. So part of that visualization is happening. And then you're taking aligned action. She started to like work on her teeth. She started to work on her breath. She started to, really be healthy. She started to save money. She started to sort of see where she wanted to be. And then in taking the aligned action, so here's the thing that, because again, I believe that the universe tests you, right? So she starts feeling good, and she starts feeling that like all men are not pieces of crap. Like there's some good guys out there. My dad's a good guy. My uncle's a good guy. Like my neighbor's a good guy. Like she just starts to see that there are actually good guys out there, that she's actually really smart, that she's actually really kind. She just starts to change her perception of the world. And she starts dating, and there's these guys that show up, and she's like, man, I think this might be like the one. I think this might be the one, right? And I just said to her, feel how you feel, when you think about being with this person. Does it feel right? No, it doesn't feel right. There's something missing. He's got all these qualities, but something's not right. And sure enough, like on one of their dates, he had said to her, if a girl's not intimate with me, like within the first month or something, like I can't be with her. Now, she in the past would have been like, I guess I gotta sleep with him because like I don't want to lose the guy. And so because she's now changed, she says, I'm not doing that. Like I don't become intimate with someone in the month. It's like I have to be comfortable. And the guy was just like, well, see you later. And she came in like super excited because she was like, Ed, you will never believe that like I did it. Like I passed the test, whatever that was. It's like I didn't settle. I didn't just say like, well, he's got X, Y, and Z, like let me just settle and sleep with the guy. She said, I just was not willing to settle. And sure enough, like she said, I wasn't willing to settle. And then probably, like a month later, she came in and she said, Ed, I met this guy. It feels right. Like he doesn't have everything, but like the core things that I wanted, like he meets. So then here's the other test that happened. She had an opportunity to buy a house. She was living with her parents. She saved up enough money, like fantastic. She let go of the energy of like her hostility and her anger about having to live with her parents and whatever. And she just sort of did a lot of the work, and she had an opportunity to buy a house. And she normally would say, oh, I'm not gonna buy the house because I'm gonna wait till like, really get together with this guy, and if we get together, then we'll buy a house together. And she was like, no, I want this house. I want this house to be for me and my kids, and this is gonna be like a great opportunity. And she went and she moved forward with buying the house. And again, she could have said, oh, I'm not gonna do it because I wanna wait for the guy so we could buy a house together. And she just was like, no, like the opportunity presented itself, and she said, I'm buying the house. And so she had enough money saved, and then out of the woodwork, men just started helping her uncles, her whatever, her dad, her, like she had a coworker at work. Like it just sort of aligned itself that she was receiving gifts left and right, because she was sort of saying like, this is what I want, this is what I'm asking for, I'm doing the work, and it's okay for me to have these things. And all of a sudden people wanted to gift things to her. And so last we left off, she was in the process of buying her house. She was in this relationship, this really great relationship with this really great guy. Again, don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to be the soulmate, but she's just like content. She got a raise at work because, again, she presented as like more optimistic. She started being more helpful at work. She didn't like gossip and complain about her boss. So she just like went to work, did her work, was grateful, had gratitude for these experiences, was grateful for her ex because he gave her her kids. She was grateful for her conflict resolution skills that she then was able to apply at work. And so she used all of those things to manifest the life that she wanted. And so I say these things to you because it's about using the steps of manifestation that are rooted in science. And I will post, a lot of the studies below in the video, but you can manifest your life, but really it has to start with you. It has to start with where are you and how are you presenting yourself to the universe in a way that sort of says like, I am ready to receive the things that I want, and it is okay for me to receive the things that I want. So I hope that this was informative. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.